Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Cape Town Sevens. This one, Fiji versus Great Britain, and this is an absolutely must win for these two sides. They both had themselves defeats in their first opening contest. The Fijians narrowly defeated by the Blitzboks, 24 points to 21, whereas New Zealand, they were able to beat Team GB 29-12. So that points differential for Great Britain at the moment, it hurts a little bit. But no matter what from this game, they need the full 3 points, and the same can be said about the Flying Fijians. Looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, it is Josefa Talatholo, Narongo, Seva Mothorathangi, Jeremiah Matana, Taria Vailawa, Vuiviwa Nadovalu, who once again had a strong game up against the South Africans. Just had one mistake, though, and that did cost the Fijians a try. George Balsi, he closes out the Fijian starting side for GB. There's Marcus Kershaw, Charlton Kerr, Ethan Waddleton, Tom Burden, also Matt Davison, Ryan Apps, and Damien Hoyland. So a couple little switches there compared to what we did see in the first contest. Same can be said about that Fijian starting side. Very intriguing to know who will come out of this game as the victor, but then also who has more momentum heading into that last match, because GB have to take on the Blitzboks, the side that beat them 34-0. And then also Fiji would have to take on New Zealand, side that knocked them out of the Dubai Sevens competition. Hi people, says Please and Tees, welcome in. You are doing very well. We have got Bulla Bulla, Go Fijian Brothers, says Nazi there. But yeah, some strong starting lineups for these two sides. We do see Vunaki as well as Sanila, both unavailable for the Fijians. So just a 4-man bench with Maisa Moa, Vakadrano, Bukiyaro and Natungu is also there and available for this contest. A little bit surprising that we didn't see a massive amount of him from that first match that did take place. Good morning, says Akta. Welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Hi, guys, says Philip. And there too. But yeah, a crucial game for these two sides. Just around the corner, it's going to be Fiji, or in fact, New Zealand, taking on South Africa. So that will determine who finishes top of that group. And then also whoever loses that game, theoretically, can still be knocked out by the winner of this contest. Good morning, I had a snooze on the couch before, says Novmaman. Also, they're still hot, still windy, says Ruth. And there as well, but the narrow loss for the Fijians. It did seem like they were in control up against South Africa, but a couple errors from this Fijian side in the later stages of that contest did end up costing them, losing it by 3, but getting themselves that bonus point. Could be the difference between making it and missing out. Outing to the usual suspects, says Ruby. And I will also mention, with how close the Sevens format is at the moment, with only the 8 sides, we've seen Australia lose both their opening contests up against the Spanish as well as Argentina. So they are gone from the playoff matches, going from a final last week to now playing off theoretically maximum 5th. It just shows you how much it can change. And at the moment, it looks like the Spanish, they may make their way through, or maybe France, one of those two sides alongside Argentina, but ready to go for this contest is going to be kicked off by GB, going from right to left. We are once again on the manual scoreboard, so we will try our best to keep that updated as the match does wear on, but it is kicked off high. And this is where Fiji, not only do they need to start well, but they need to finish well also. They're inside of their own 22, Taria Vailawa, and across now to the captain, Jeremiah Matana. Good driving tackle on him by Matt Davison. A little bit of an overthrown pass there. Loose ball. Kick forward, Ethan Waddleton, but it is dropped by GB, and we'll bring on the scrum now for the Fijians. Philip, I'm at my cousin's friend's place in Durbanville, watching at the house. And also we have got there James Aussie, says Nars Williams. And hey, Ruby says Philip in there, and Go Fiji says Please and Tees. You're just ending up knocking that ball on for Great Britain, only about 10 metres out from the Fijian line. There seemed to be the danger zone for the Fijians in their first match up against the Blitzboks. There were mistakes coming inside of their own 22, and that is when they started conceding. But Filippo Bukiyaro, he will be making his way off the bench. They've actually decided to make that switch and have Taria Vailawa in the starting side rather than making his way as an impact player like he did all throughout last week, with the exception of the last game, getting in the breakdown. Great Britain win themselves the not releasing penalty. Going off to the left-hand side, wide skip pass. That looks forward. Oh, no, they're going to go play on. So that was about a metre pass in front, and it looks like GB might be able to score off it. They are going to fully capitalise on the opportunity, and they score the try. Matt Davidson off a blatant forward pass that has not been ruled. And the try is going to stand. It looks like there may be an injury for one of the GB players in the process as well, but they don't get much more forward than that in the game of sevens. Still a very good try, don't get me wrong, but we're going to see the replay here. Kershaw, throws it forward. I think the commentators are now just asking the question, in what world has that gone backwards? Probably got an argument there, but GB will lead in this contest. And they've mentioned about just playing to the whistle as well. GB, some great offloads after that point. Looking at the women's pool B, so it looks wide open. These look like they will be top of their pool. Says, no, I mean, with the one game left, it can all well and truly change. They're showing the replay again. Maybe they're trying to say it's down the line, but it is going to stand. The kick has missed, I believe, for GB, so they're just going to make the score. Now, 5 points to 0. Alliance 3 better than 8 at the moment. Says Bruce, we really wish they made it 14s instead of 7s. That will really prove who the chiseling Colbies are. Think about it. Says Ruby, so are you saying you wish they'd make it 14 minutes or like 14 on the field per team? That's a great restart from Fiji, and they will run the full distance of the field. And the try is scored by Vuiviwa Nadovalo. So Fiji haven't had a huge amount of attacking opportunities, 14 minutes. So 14-minute halves, I assume you're saying, rather than 7-minute halves, right? They actually used to do it that the final was 10-minute halves, fun fact. They did change that a few years ago, though. But Nadovalo, anytime he gets some sort of space, he is well and truly going to make the most of it for the Fijians. And correct, says Ruby. But the Fijians are now back in the contest. And not only back in it, they are back into the lead in this matchup. Vuiviwa Nadovalo at the moment sits at the top of the bunch with series tries. Luciano Gonzalez and Marcos Moneda both sit on 6, so 2 clear at the moment for Vuiviwa Nadovalo, and that becomes even more impressive when you realise he's only played about 6 games. Does that still happen? Says Philip, I know that on the World 7 circuit they no longer do just the 7s. There's a balloon that's just about to land near the players. Going off to the right-hand side here. Great Britain looking for the kick in behind, down space, or finding space in the wide channel, but it does end up rolling into touch. We view Nadovalo deciding against a quick throw. Some deep breaths being taken by both of these sides, though. It is relatively warm at the moment in Cape Town by the looks of it. Fiji had the most possession of any team last week, averaging 52 passes and 32 carries per game. 14 minutes at full speed. Times 2 seems reasonable. It's very reasonable when we're watching from a couch or a chair, watching these guys run around. I definitely don't think they could have gone an extra minute in Dubai with the heat that they were dealing with out there on the field. In fact, I think a lot of sides did well to play the 14 minutes with that humidity. Now, Sevamotha Nothangi going back across to the left-hand side. Now, Josefa Talatholo had a brilliant offload in that last contest. Matana tries offloading this time. Finds Tario Vailawa. He can be so dangerous. So GB shut him down early. Ethan Waddleton making that tackle. Talatholo receives the offload. Goes for one himself. The big American football style pass, but it rolls into touch. To make the ball. The hands of Great Britain again for the line out. Fiji just trying to get this ball out a little bit wider. Maybe rushing it a little bit compared to what we did see in that first contest. And a few more mistakes. A line out throw here for GB once more. Now stepping Ethan Waddleton, not giving himself a huge amount of space to work with on the near side of the field, but manages to cut back inwards. Shelton Kerr plays halfback. Now inside of their own 22. GB, they go through. Great Pearson run from Damien Hoyland. Looked like he was going to have enough to be able to get through, but then Fiji managing to make a very strong tackle. Now out to Ethan Waddleton again. Showing off his stepping. Dragged down by Matana. Battle with the headgears on that near side of the field. Now piercing through again. Narongo shutting him down. Bumped into him somewhere a few years ago. Says Ruth. Now Hoyland. Another double step. Talatholo driving tackle on him. That looked a little bit high from George Balsey. Still alive for GB though. So got 50 seconds remaining in the half. Back out to Ethan Waddleton. Tackled again by Matana. This is just a slow and methodical build at the moment for GB. Not rushing it, which is the big difference at the moment, I believe, between the two sides. Fiji are trying to make a miracle happen within a few seconds, whereas GB know that if they can just hang on to that ball for a little bit longer up until the miscommunication, there was a knock on just then, so it will be the scrum feed for Fiji, but up until then, it just seemed like they were being strategic, not rushing things. I only recently learned him and Rassi were not great friends, says Philip there. And we have got there, does Harry Plummer play with Clement now, says Connor. I know that he did go to France. I'm not sure who he ended up playing for. He might be with Clement. They've got some great internationals in their side. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm here now. Says Dame Set Match. Welcome in. And Lions are ahead in their game up against Benetton. Now Taria Valawa. Across to the right-hand side. Vuiviwa Nadovalo. Currently ahead by the 2 points. Narongo puts in the fend. Across to Jeremiah Matana. These two sides have been very even throughout the start of this contest, neither being able to really break through and make the impact. Josefa Talatholo getting spun around. And still manages to get that offload to Matana Balsi. The one-handed offload. Now Talatholo goes across again. Narongo. To try and back his fend. Gets a pass on the outside. And now Nadovalo. He cuts through again. This should be the try. Tell you what, that's brilliant defence from Great Britain. And you can see there how much it means to this GB side. Tom Burden with a try-saving tackle right at the end of the half. That is where maybe Vuiviwa Nadovalo needed to look to that inside ball. Where can we watch the live, says Navnet. It is available on Rugby Pass TV for certain locations around the world, the likes of the UK. That's a brilliant tackle made right at the last moment. In fact, it was Ryan Apps who deserves the credit there, not Tom Burden. And then they play one or two games together. All right, making stuff up against his Ruby. Currently halftime in this contest, 7 points to 5 in favour of the Fijians. A man who runs behind car gets exhausted, says Dame in there as well. Of course, the fatigue will be setting in for these two sides, so they will be feeling exhausted, just with the fact that we hardly had any stoppages throughout their first half. Hi again, Hamish. Hi all, says Wild Lobster. Welcome in. Another game just around the corner. It will be South Africa taking on New Zealand, which is a top-of-the-table clash in this group. Whoever wins that game will be certain to go through to the semi-finals. Whoever loses the match, though, well, they have to beat the winner of this game, which at the moment seems like it's going to be very hard to pick. Now, Fiji, the benefit that they had is they got themselves the bonus point from their contest up against the South Africans. So theoretically, we could see, let's just say, GB somehow pull off the win over South Africa. If Fiji were able to beat New Zealand, points differential would come into it. 2019 World Cup, says Philip. And we have got there, Wild Lobster, is you crispy, says Ruth. And there too, but second half of this contest, getting very close to taking place. Man who runs in front of car gets tired, says Dame in there as well. Yep. Second half, second 7 minutes of all that action. That first half, I would actually say it felt like one of the slower halves we've seen of the Sevens, and maybe that was down to the fact that we only saw the 2 tries. Not a huge amount of stoppages though, just consistent building. Showing there that only 11 and a half minutes away from the matchup taking place between New Zealand and South Africa. We will be covering that one on the channel as well, but it's kicked off by Fiji to get us back underway. Charlton Kerr unable to take that one cleanly, but still knocks it back onto the side of Great Britain. Another penalty goes against George Balsey. He's actually given away about 4 penalties already throughout this competition, and only about the 21 or so minutes that Fiji have played now passed across to the left. Stepping inwards is Ryan Apps, the man who made the crucial tackle. Oh, another penalty going against Fiji for no clear release against Josefa Talatholo. And sun out for a moment. But thunderclouds building again. Is that anywhere near the stadium, Wild Lobster, or is it a little way away? A man who lifts car gets jacked, says Philip. And the Bordeaux match should be a good match. Or Bordeaux, I assume that is. And this is closer than I thought it would be. Honestly, it is, yeah. And maybe Fiji will find their momentum, but at the moment they just seem off in this game so far. I think that loss up against the South Africans has taken a lot of wind out of the sails of the Fijians to have that, what looked like a comfortable lead, and then go on to lose a game. It can really hurt the psyche of certain teams now trying to step down the wing for GB. But the other side of things is Fiji, every time they try and get a steal on the breakdown, they've been penalised. So they don't really know what to do to get that ball back at the moment. Because, one or two more penalties, and they can find themselves in trouble, maybe ending up into the bin. I expected more tries, says Philip. There as well. Now going off to the left-hand side for Great Britain. As 2 more minutes pass throughout this half into the hands of Apps once more. On the far side of the field, and he gets wrestled into touch. About 40 metres out from their own line. We see their passes, 50 made from Great Britain, 18 carries. They have done exactly in this game what normally you would end up saying is the perfect tactic to beat Fiji, and that is just starve them off the possession. But even throughout this game, we're still seeing Fiji with a little bit of the ball. Man who runs in front of car gets knocked over, says DJ. And my cousin is a big box supporter, stressing. Now, ready to go for the line out here. 40 metres out from their line, Fiji. You throw it in, nicely taken by Josefa Talatholo. I guess as long as you win by any margin of points, that is all that either of these sides will be after. Yes, points differential will be crucial, and this is perhaps the game they both were hoping to really mount it up a little bit. Oh, ball stolen, Ethan Waddleton. Going now, Great Britain, little grubber in behind. Charlton Kerr, he is winning the foot race, just needs the bounce of the ball. He gets back up to his feet, just 1 metre short of the try line now for Great Britain. Shifting this one away to the left-hand side. It should be the try, and it will be. And it's a try for Damien Hoyland, who manages to score it, and Great Britain take the lead back in this contest. Quite the turnaround, not just for GB, from what they were able to do in their first game up against New Zealand. They lost that one by 17 points, but they've come out firing here up against the Fijians. Showing a lot of fight. And English mustard hot. Here's Ruth. Nicely picked up by Charlton Kerr, and he was smart not to go for it himself there, just sitting and then getting the pass across and then finishing it off for Great Britain. That ball has gone over the post too, so that is going to make the points 7 points to 10. Or sorry, 7 points to 12 from the 10. There we go. Currently just the 3.5 minutes remaining here. A couple changes about to be made for Fiji. Filippo Bukayaro makes his way on, but this has been a very strong GB performance. And they just kicked it out on the full. We have their cricket dad joke. If you have a short leg, you will like MP. Or maybe you should stream pretend matches. I will still be here and your channel will explode. I don't think it would if I did pretend matches. I think that most people would just think that I've slowly lost my mind. And they would be 100% correct. What nationality is the ref? He is South African. This is AJ Jacobs in charge of this one. Now Manueli Mai Samoa Vuiviwa Nadovalo still running. Finds the pass on the outside. Fiji will get themselves the try down the wing. It's Vakadrano who runs it around. That gets them back into a level playing field here with the kick to come. It's almost a bit of a weird one because Fiji look like at times they're scoring easily in this game, but then outside of those little moments they have been struggling throughout the 12 minutes so far. Mavakadrano running down the wing and scoring it. No wonder Fiji getting pinged. Here's Nars Williams. That kick has gone over as well, so that gives the lead back to Fiji. 2 tries apiece, but GB have missed one of their kicks. who started the dad jokes. That was Damo. So he can take full credit for that one. Restart clock, another 10 seconds, and Fiji will use up as many seconds as they can. Now kicking this one off high. And Josefa Talatholo goes up for it. Doesn't take it cleanly. Let's knock it on. We have got there, do you think? What did you think about the Sunday Q&A? Sessions, I suggested. I did, but I don't think enough people would probably, to be honest, care. Like, I should have done it in international rugby. Outside of that, though, I think that a lot of people are kind of on standby when it comes to the channel. They will be back for the Six Nations, more than likely. And dad cricket joke, if you have short leg, you'll be limp. And I was like, Tosafiti says Akta. Anna there as well. And now picked up. Nicely taken by GB. Manueli Moa, wrestling him down, having to avoid getting into the breakdown. Now going off to the left-hand side. Skip pass. Chance here for Great Britain out wide with Charlton Kerr. This is where defence wins you a game if you are Fiji. And this is where one brilliant moment on attack could win it for GB. Charlton Kerr a bit slow. Getting back up to his feet. How many minutes left? Just the one on the clock. It's a loose ball. And that is brutal for Great Britain. They know they've made the mistake. It is picked up by Vakadrano. And that will win the game more than likely for the Fijians. Just a loose ball. Trying to risk an offload. Actually similar to how Fiji lost their game up against the South Africans. Seems to always score in the kickable place. And not on the near side, making the kicks easier. Yeah, that is something that Fiji have done extremely well throughout this competition, is scoring in positions where their kicker can get it over, just like that one, as that now gives them the 9-point lead. That is now the perfect scenario for the Fijians. They want to stop GB from getting any sort of bonus point. Not that it will matter fully. The most points that GB can get now is 5. It's going to be kicked off short. Nicely taken by Great Britain. Now charging forward. In fact, the most they can get is 4 points. Oh, this is a good run from the back for GB. It's going to be a foot race down the wing. And Great Britain score the try right at the end of this contest. A breakaway. The Fijians just could not get close. And they will be short in this contest, running it round a little bit. So should be an easy enough kick, but a close game between these two sides, which not many were predicting. And yeah, just a nice carry down the wing. That was actually from Marcus Kershaw. He's been out there since the start of this game. And now that kick has actually missed away to the side. So 21-17, the end score in this fixture, ladies and gentlemen. But what we will be doing is going over to that next live stream now, taking place between South Africa and also New Zealand. So I will see you all in a very short moment.